Did you know that a humble little penny from 1975 might just be the treasure hiding in your change jar right now? That's right, folks. Today we're diving deep into the world of the 1975 United States 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of copper that may be worth far more than just a cent. Some versions of this coin can fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on specific factors most people overlook. And guess what? You might have one sitting unnoticed in your pocket right now. So buckle up, coin lovers, history buffs, and treasure hunters, because this episode is going to uncover secrets, stories, and shocking values that make the 1975 penny more than just spare change. Let's start with the basics. The 1975 1-cent coin, often just called the 1975 penny, was minted by the United States Mint and features the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on the obverse. That's the front of the coin. This iconic design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and it has remained in use ever since with very few changes. On the reverse, the back side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1975 penny is part of this beloved Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 all the way to 2008. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 1975, millions upon millions of these coins were minted. But while they might look the same to the naked eye, not all 1975 pennies are created equal. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover. Most 1975 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a distinctive reddish-brown tone when they're fresh and a darker, more weathered look as they age. These coins weigh about 3.11 grams. Why is this important? Because metal composition and weight are among the very first clues collectors used to identify rare or valuable variations. So if you're lucky enough to find a 1975 penny that looks or feels different, maybe it's unusually heavy, light, shiny, or even silvery, that's your cue to stop and investigate. Here's where things heat up. In the world of coin collecting, errors are often golden, or in this case, copper. Coins that were minted with mistakes can be worth serious money. So let's talk about some of the rare variations and mint errors that make certain 1975 pennies far more valuable than their face value. Doubled dies. One of the most sought-after errors in any coin is a doubled die. That means the coin design was struck more than once but slightly out of alignment, creating a doubling effect that's often visible on the letters or numbers. Check. Liberty, in God we trust, and especially the date. 1975. For any doubling. If you spot one, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Off-center strikes. Some 1975 pennies were struck off-center, meaning part of the design is missing or misaligned. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. A coin with 50% of the design missing, but with the full date visible, is highly collectible. No mint mark versus mint marks. D or S. Most 1975 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and bear no mint mark. Others were made at the Denver Mint, marked with a small D, or at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S. The S mint mark pennies were mostly proofs, made specifically for collectors and not released into general circulation. A 1975 S proof penny in perfect condition can be worth far more than face value, especially if it's graded PR 69 or PR 70. Wrong planchet errors. In extremely rare cases, a 1975 penny was struck on a dime planchet, meaning the coin is silver-colored and weighs less than a normal penny. These are incredibly rare and can sell for thousands. Condition is everything. A coin's grade can mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a treasure worth $5,000. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. A 1975 penny in circulated condition might be worth only a few cents, but an uncirculated, mint state, MS coin, especially MS 65 or higher, can be worth anywhere from $10 to several $100 depending on rarity and demand. And if you have a proof 1975 S coin in PR 70 deep cameo condition, get ready. That can go for over $1,000 in the right auction. Let's talk numbers. As of now, in 2025, the value of a 1975 penny depends on all the factors we just discussed. Here's a quick breakdown of what collectors are paying. Regular 1975 penny, circulated 1 to 5 cents 1975 penny, uncirculated MS65 plus $10 to $251975 penny in high grade, $15 to $30197.5 proof penny, PR 69 $10 to $60197.5 proof penny, PR $7,500 to $1. 200 plus 1975 penny with doubled die, $250 to $2,000 depending on condition off-center or planchet error pennies, $100 to $5,000 plus. And remember, market prices can shift quickly, especially with growing interest in numismatics thanks to online marketplaces and collectors hunting for that next big find. Want to check your own 1975 pennies for hidden value? Here's what to do. Gather all your pennies and separate the 1975s. Look for mint marks, no mark, D, or S. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date, letters, and mint mark for doubling or distortion. Weigh the coin on a digital scale. It should weigh around 3.11 grams. Check the coin's color and condition. Bright red luster? That's a great sign. For rare finds, consider professional grading from services like PCGS or NGC. You never know, that 1-cent coin might be your 1 in a million find. So the next time you spot a dusty old penny on the ground, don't just walk by. Pick it up. Look closely. Because it might just be a 1975 gem worth a small fortune. Coins are more than just currency. They're pieces of history, tiny time machines that tell stories, hold secrets, and sometimes hide treasures. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, share it with your fellow coin collectors or treasure hunters, and subscribe for more deep dives into the incredible world of coins. Got a 1975 penny story or a question? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers. Have you ever looked at a simple penny and wondered if it's hiding a secret? What if I told you that a 1976 1-cent coin from the United States, that's right, just a humble Lincoln penny, could be worth thousands of dollars today? In this video, we're diving deep into the story, value, and hidden wealth behind the 1976 penny. Grab your magnifying glass and stay with me because you might just have a small fortune in your pocket change. Let's take a step back in time. The year is 1976. The United States is celebrating its bicentennial. 200 years of independence, and the nation is buzzing with patriotism. Fireworks are lighting up the sky, parades are marching through towns, and coins are being struck by the U.S. Mint to mark this monumental year. Now here's where it gets interesting. While most people know about the special bicentennial designs on the quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins, many don't realize that the good old penny, the 1-cent coin, from 1976 also holds a fascinating story. While it didn't get a special commemorative design, it was minted during a year of great national importance, and several versions of this coin have become collector's gold. Not literally, but you get what I mean. The 1976 Lincoln cent still carried the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo stood tall and proud. It may seem like a regular penny, but what's hidden beneath the surface is what gets collectors excited. So let's talk varieties. The 1976 penny came from multiple mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Here's the breakdown. No mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia. D. Mint mark means Denver. S. Mint mark indicates the coin was minted in San Francisco. Now most of these pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But here's a twist. Copper prices soared in the 70s, and the composition of pennies was about to change. So these coins became even more precious due to their copper content. Each of these 1976 copper cents weighs about 3.11 grams, more than the post-1982 copper-plated zinc cents. The San Francisco Mint also produced proof coins for collectors, And some of these 1976 proof cents are worth significantly more than face value, especially if they are in pristine condition with deep cameo contrast. But the real gems? Those are the era coins and high-grade specimens. Some 1976 pennies were misstruck, double-struck, or contained dramatic die errors. These are like the holy grail for collectors and can fetch serious cash. Let's get to what you're really here for, the value. How much is a 1976 penny actually worth? In circulated condition, most 1976 pennies are worth 1 cent, maybe 2 to 3 cents if you're selling them for their copper content. But if you find one in uncirculated condition, especially graded MS65 or higher, now we're talking money. Here's what collectors have paid. A 1976 Lincoln cent in MS67 red sold for over $3,000 at auction. A 1976 no mint mark in MS66 red can bring in up to $100 or more, depending on the market. The 1976 S-proof coins in PR69 DCM, deep cameo, have sold for $50 to $150, and sometimes even more if they are certified by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC. And then there are the era coins, a double die obverse or double die reverse? Easily hundreds to thousands of dollars. A 1976 penny struck on a dime planchet or off-center? That's another $200 to $1,000, depending on the rarity, and I appeal. So yes, while the average 1976 penny might only buy you a piece of bubble gum, the rare ones can buy you an entire treasure chest. Alright, so what should you be looking for in your pocket change, coin jar, or inherited collection? Mint mark, check for a 1976S. If it's a proof, it may have extra value. Color and shine. Red pennies are more desirable than brown or red-brown. Red indicates a coin that hasn't oxidized and is closer to its original condition. Die errors. Look for doubling in the date. Liberty. Or, In God We Trust. Off-center strikes. These coins were misaligned in the press and have missing portions of the design. Wrong planchet strikes. These are incredibly rare, but if your penny is thinner or lighter than it should be, have it weighed and tested. Grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop, inspect the surfaces, look at the date, and compare it with known examples online or in auction listings. Now let's talk about the current coin market. With inflation on the rise and precious metals gaining attention again, collectors are more active than ever. The coin market, especially for US coins, has seen a resurgence. Even common date coins in high grades are seeing premium sales. If you have a graded 1976 penny, especially in mint state red condition, it's a good time to list it. Online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections are buzzing with bids. Some people are even assembling full sets of Lincoln cents, driving up demand for high-grade examples of every year, including 1976. If you're new to collecting or just want to know if your coins are valuable, here are some quick tips. Never clean your coins. It reduces their value dramatically. Store them properly. Use coin flips, capsules, or albums to avoid damage. Get them graded. If you believe your coin is valuable, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Join online communities. Reddit, Facebook groups, and coin forums are filled with helpful collectors willing to share insight. Most importantly, keep learning. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it's a journey through history, art, and treasure hunting all rolled into one. So there you have it, friends, the amazing story and hidden value of the 1976 1-cent coin. A coin that millions overlooked, yet some examples are worth a fortune. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, keep an eye on your pennies. That next coin you find could be your lucky break. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin stories and money mysteries, and drop a comment below. Do you have a 1976 penny in your collection? Today, we're unlocking the secrets behind a coin that many people overlook. A tiny piece of copper that could be sitting in your pocket, your coin jar, or hidden away in an old drawer. We're talking about the 1989 1-cent coin from the United States of America. That's right, the humble Lincoln penny from 1989, worth just 1 cent when it was minted, might now be worth a small fortune. If you're a coin collector, treasure hunter, or just curious about which coins are actually worth money, you do not want to miss this video. Because we're not just talking about pocket change, we're talking about real cash, real value, and real stories behind this seemingly ordinary coin. Grab your magnifying glass, hold onto your seat, and let's explore why this small copper-plated coin could make a big difference in your life. Let's take it back for a moment. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and not just a symbolic representation of liberty. Since then, it's gone through several changes, from its composition to its design, and every decade has its own story. Now, by the time 1989 rolled around, the Lincoln cent had already been in production for 80 years. But here's what makes the 1989 penny especially interesting. It came at a time of transition and change in the U.S. Mint's production standards. Starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint stopped making pennies out of pure copper due to rising metal costs. Instead, they switched to a copper-plated zinc composition. So, the 1989 Lincoln cent is made of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. But that's not the whole story. Within the year 1989, there are some rare varieties, minting errors, and special features that could turn this 1-cent coin into a jackpot for collectors. Let's get into the juicy part. What makes some of these 1989 1-cent coins worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars? First, the mint mark. The 1989 penny was struck at two locations, the Philadelphia Mint, which carries no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, marked with a small d beneath the date. The majority of 1989 pennies were struck at Philadelphia, but Denver minted coins are also common. However, within these mints, rare minting errors occurred that are now incredibly sought after. Here are the top types of rare 1989 penny errors and varieties you need to look for. Double die obverse, DDO. This error shows doubling of the letters or numbers on the front side of the coin. Look closely at the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," or the date, 1989. A strong double die penny can sell for over $500 or more depending on its condition. Off-center strikes. If the coin was not properly centered during the minting process, it could have a portion missing or the design struck off to one side. A 1989 off-center penny that shows about 50% of the design missing but still includes the full date can be worth up to $150 to $300 or more. Clipped planchet. This is when the blank metal disc was improperly cut and has a missing curved area. These are rarer and can fetch between $75 to $250 depending on condition. Repunched mint mark, RPM. Some Denver minted coins might have the D mint mark punched twice. A strong RPM in high grade could bring in $100 or more. Transitional errors. These are incredibly rare, but it's always worth checking. A few coins may have been struck on copper planchets by mistake, left over from previous years. If you find a 1989 penny that weighs around 3.1 grams instead of 2.5 grams, get it professionally graded immediately. Because it could be struck on a copper planchet and might be worth thousands, you don't need to be a professional coin dealer to spot a valuable coin. You just need patience, good lighting, and maybe a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Here's a step-by-step guide. Check the date and mint mark, look for the 1989, and see if there's a D or no mint mark. Inspect for doubling, zoom in on the text on the front side. Liberty, in God We Trust. And the date. Look at the rim and edges. Any unusual patterns, misalignment, or cuts? Weigh your coin. Use a digital scale. A normal 1989 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it weighs 3.1 grams, it might be a rare copper version. Examine with care, don't clean or scratch the coin. A dirty rare penny is more valuable than a shiny damaged one. So, let's talk numbers. What's the market value of a 1989 penny in 2025? A regular circulated 1989 penny with no mint mark is typically worth 1 to 3 cents. A high-grade uncirculated coin graded MS65 or above can fetch around $5 to $15. A 1989 penny in brilliant uncirculated condition can go for $10 to $20. Error coins, such as double dies or off-center strikes, can sell anywhere from $50 to $500 plus depending on the error and condition. A copper transitional error, if authenticated, can go from $1,500 up to $5,000 or even more at auction. If you believe you have a valuable 1989 penny, your best next step is to get it graded. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. This not only verifies the authenticity but gives it a marketable value. Listed on auction sites, eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections are great places to sell rare coins. Join collector forums. Sometimes direct selling to passionate collectors will bring better offers. So, next time you get some change back from a vending machine, fast food restaurant, or the couch cushions, don't be too quick to toss those pennies aside. That tiny 1989 cent might just be your ticket to a big payday. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures. Sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest value. So keep hunting, stay curious, and always check your change. You never know what history and value you're holding in your hand. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more awesome coin videos, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Leave a comment if you have a rare penny you want us to check out, or if you've found a 1989 penny worth money. We'd love to hear your story. Ladies and gentlemen, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people with loose change in their pockets, you might be holding on to a tiny fortune and not even know it. That's right. What if I told you that a single 1-cent coin from 1992, just a regular old penny, could be worth thousands of dollars today? In some cases, up to $20,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's absolutely true, and in this video, we're going to break down exactly why the 1992 1-cent United States coin is so special, what makes it valuable, how to identify the rare ones, and how much they're going for right now on the collector's market. So grab your jar of spare change, because you might just have a golden goose hiding in plain sight. Let's dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1992 Lincoln cent, a humble little copper coin with a mysterious twist, a rare printing error, and a sky-high collector's value that could leave your jaw on the floor. It all begins in the early 1990s. The year is 1992, and the United States Mint is operating as usual. Pennies are being struck by the millions in Philadelphia and Denver. At first glance, the Lincoln cent from 1992 looks just like any other. You've got Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse, and on the reverse, the familiar Lincoln Memorial, centered with precision. Everything seems ordinary, but hidden among these coins is a rare and incredible mistake, so subtle, so small, that most people would never notice it without a magnifying glass and a keen eye. This mistake is known as the 1992 close AM penny. And here's where the story gets fascinating. On the back of the Lincoln cent, look closely at the word America. On regular pennies, the A and M in America are clearly spaced apart. You can see the little gap between the letters. But on the rare, close AM variety, those two letters are almost touching, nearly connected. This close AM design was not supposed to appear on circulation coins in 1992. Instead, the close AM design was intended for proof coins, specially made coins for collectors, not general circulation. But due to a minting mix-up, a very small number of 1992 pennies, both from the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, were struck using the wrong reverse die. They ended up with the close AM reverse on business strike coins. That accident turned these ordinary coins into highly valuable rarities. Professional coin graders and collectors go wild over these error coins. Why? Because they are exceedingly rare. Only a handful of these close AM pennies from 1992 are known to exist. As of today, Experts estimate fewer than 20 examples of the 1992 Close AM from Philadelphia have been certified by major grading services like PCGS and NGC. The 1992 D Close AM from the Denver Mint is even rarer. Only a couple of examples have ever been found. In 2012, a 1992 D Close AM penny in high grade sold at auction for a staggering $20,700. Another example, the 1992 Close AM from Philadelphia, sold for more than $8,000. And guess what? That value has only gone up as these coins become harder and harder to find. Collectors are on the hunt constantly, checking every 1992 penny they can get their hands on, hoping to strike gold, or copper, in this case. So how do you know if you've got the golden ticket sitting in your penny jar? It's simple, but it requires attention to detail. Step 1. Grab a 1992 penny. Flip it over and look at the word America. Step 2. Focus on the A and the M. Are they clearly separated? If yes, it's the normal, common type. But if the A and M are nearly touching, you might have something truly special. Now, to be 100% sure, most collectors use a magnifying glass or a USB microscope, which you can pick up online for just a few bucks. If you think you've found one, the next step is to get it graded. Send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it's confirmed to be a 1992 Close AM, you've just hit the jackpot. Market values for these coins have been steadily rising. The demand is high, but the supply is incredibly limited. A certified example in mint state condition can fetch between $8,000 to $25,000 depending on the grade and the mint mark. Even worn examples can go for hundreds, sometimes thousands. It all depends on condition and certification. One of the most amazing stories came from a man who found a 1992 D Close AM in a box of pennies he was sorting through for fun. After sending it off to be graded, he got the news it was genuine. That 1-cent coin became worth more than a brand new car. So what are you waiting for? Start checking those 1992 pennies. Look in your change, your piggy bank, that old jar on your grandma's shelf. You never know, your next trip to the grocery store might bring you home with a $10,000 treasure in your pocket. Remember, the 1992 Close AM penny is one of the rarest and most valuable modern Lincoln cents in existence. It's not flashy, it's not made of silver or gold, but its rarity and historical mistake make it a priceless piece of American numismatic history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update on coins that could change your life. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're going to check your 1992 pennies right now. And who knows? Maybe your penny jar holds the next $20,000 coin waiting to be discovered. If you've ever tossed a penny into a jar without thinking twice, you might want to listen closely, because that old penny from 1999 could actually be worth way more than just a cent. That's right, today we're diving deep into the history, secrets, errors, and the true value of the 1999 United States 1-cent coin, and by the end of this video, you might just be digging through your change like a treasure hunter. Let's rewind the clock back to the final year of the 20th century. 1999. The world was preparing for the new millennium. People were worried about Y2K, the internet was booming, and the US Mint was continuing to produce billions of coins every year. Among those coins? The good old Lincoln cent, also known as the penny. The 1999 penny may seem like any other coin in your pocket, coppery, small, and unassuming. But trust me, there's more than meets the eye. Let's start with a quick recap of the coin's basics. On the obverse side, you have the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been in use since 1909. That's nearly a century of the same face on the coin. Surrounding Lincoln's head are the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1999 to the right, simple, classic, and timeless. The 1999 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial Building, designed by Frank Gasparo. What's fascinating is that if you look closely, And I mean really closely. You can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln between the columns of the memorial. Most people never notice that detail. Now let's talk composition. By 1999, the penny had already undergone a significant change. Older pennies, those made before 1982, were mostly copper. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a cheaper composition. So the 1999 penny is 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. That's right, it's mostly zinc. It weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. In 1999, pennies were struck at two primary U.S. mints, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those from Denver have a small D mint mark under the year. Now here's the exciting part. While billions of pennies were minted that year, certain errors and conditions can make these coins incredibly valuable. So before you spend that 1999 penny, listen to this. Not all pennies are created equal. Some of them were struck with mistakes. And those mistakes? They can make a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's talk about some of the most sought-after errors found on 1999 1-cent coins. Wide AM reverse. This is a big one. Between 1993 and 2008, the standard penny design featured the letters A and M in America close together. But a few 1999 pennies were accidentally struck with the earlier proof reverse design, where the A and M are spaced further apart. This is what collectors call a 1999 wide AM penny, and it's extremely desirable. Depending on condition, a 1999 wide AM penny can sell for anywhere from $100 to $500, and some in mint state have even gone for over $1,000. Double die errors. A small number of 1999 pennies exhibit doubling on the date, liberty, or other features. This kind of doubling happens during the minting process and is a collector's dream. These coins can fetch hundreds of dollars depending on severity and condition. Off-center strikes. If your 1999 penny looks like part of the design is missing or shifted off to one side, congratulations, you might have an off-center error. These mistakes happen when the coin blank isn't properly aligned, and they can be worth $50 to several $100s, depending on how dramatic the misalignment is. Now let's talk about condition, because it's everything. A regular 1999 penny from your change jar might only be worth 1 cent if it's worn out. But if you have one that looks brand new, with no scratches, nicks, or fading, that's a whole different story. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, all the way up to mint state 70, MS 70, and the higher the grade, the more money it's worth. For example, a regular 1999 D penny in average circulated condition is only worth face value. But a 1999 D penny graded MS 67 red has sold for over $500 at auction. That's right, a single penny, worth hundreds simply because it was preserved well. Now let's take a look at the current market. These values can change based on coin trends, demand, and collector interest. So here's what's hot right now. 1999 wide AM penny, MS 65 or better $2.50, $1,000,1999 double die penny, $100 to $500 depending on how clear the doubling is. 1999 off-center strike penny, $1.50, $3,001,999 regular penny. MS 67 red up to $500 plus. 1999 no mint mark regular penny, MS 66 red around $1.50, $1.50. And remember, coins that are certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC tend to sell for more. So what should you do if you think you have a rare 1999 penny? First, check for those telltale signs. Is it a wide AM? Is there doubling on the date or lettering? Is the coin off-center? Is the color a bright copper red with little to no wear? Next, consider getting it graded. A certified coin has more value and trust in the eyes of collectors. And finally, keep an eye out. Coins like these can be sitting in your change, in old jars, or even passed down from family. They're easy to overlook, but now you know what to look for. And that's a wrap on the incredible 1999 1-cent coin, a coin you thought was just spare change, but now you know it could be worth real money. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss out on more hidden treasure tips. Got a cool coin you want us to talk about next? Drop a comment below, I read them all. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your coins safe, and happy collecting!